Hello folks, it's Real Honesty with John Ritlin. I'm John Ritlin. This is the cap-off of my Why 1999 Sucked in Wrestling series. I shot the entire series one time, in one day actually, when I was pet sitting. That was a number of months ago. I want to say it was back in August. It might even been July. I don't really remember. But the whole point is this was a series suggested to me by various people, but in particular Adam at A Freaky Dude on Twitter. The end of it was going to be the famed, infamous Heroes in Wrestling show, which was absolutely atrocious. This is not the exact anniversary of it. That took place October 10th, but I'm going to be busy the next few days, so why not do it? I had seen this show before, wanted a refresher's course, and my God, it's like, it took place at the Casino Magic in Bay Lewis, Mississippi. 2,300 people in this little performance center thing where it was smoky, it was badly lit, the acoustics were horrible. They used pyro at some points, but without proper ventilation, so the whole thing was smoky whenever they used the pyro. It was terrible. They only used pyro for a few wrestlers, but my God, it was bad. You had Dutch Mantel. It was supposed to be Dutch Mantel and Gordon Soley. Gordon Soley had throat cancer, and unfortunately could not perform. And so they brought in a guy, Randy Rosenblum, and I hope I got that name right. The guy was terrible. He called like a drop kick, like a flying leg kick. I think he called he called like some kind of arm drag, some kind of slam takedown or whatever by Marty Jannetty, and it was just it was brutal. And now, to be fair, I don't know. The guy was terrible, but the guy never came across as somebody that was disrespecting wrestling. He may have just not known it. He may have known a few of the names, and he may have been somebody that just picked up off the street, like, hey, literally, he was going to be backstage, like, doing interviews or something or whatever. Our announcer can't go out. Go out and call the show. Okay, and he went out there and called the show. So, yeah, it was really, 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 really awful. The matches aren't going to matter, but I'm going to tell them anyway. The Samoan SWAT team, Jesus God, these guys were just so, and it was two members, because obviously the third member, Fatu, who was Rikishi, was in WWE at the time, and it was a Samoan SWAT team, the two members remaining, versus Marty Jannetty and Tommy Rogers. Marty Jannetty of the Rockers and Tommy Rogers of the Fantastics. Rogers was actually in the best shape out of anybody here, but yeah, it was a sloppy match. This was actually, sadly, probably the best match out of the whole thing. But yeah, the Samoan SWAT team could not move at all. They had gained a significant amount of weight, lost a lot of agility, and it was just really bad. And these guys, Samu, one of them was part of the head shrinkers in WWE just mere years before. You can't tell me that it would have been that bad. They even appeared at the 1995 Royal Rumble, I believe. And all of a sudden, 4.5 years later, they're like twice the performer they ever were. Size-wise, not performance-wise. It was just bad. And Marty Jannetty still was like in decent shape at this point. His issues hadn't gotten a hold of him yet. But yeah, this was just crap. It was like nothing. And, Dutch Mantel clearly, despite his best efforts to keep it even-keeled and call the stuff seriously, Dutch, you did your best, but come on, this show was crap. It was, it was shit. It was absolute shit. You knew it was, and after a while, Dutch was just, like, giving up. He was just, like, at the point where he, like, tried everything he could to defend it, and it just wasn't working. Then you had Greg Valentine. I wonder, in Greg Valentine versus Georgie Animal Steel, and Georgie Animal Steel had Sherri Martel in his corner. Sherri Martel, who still looked great at this point in 1999. I wonder if Greg Valentine tried using his whole women belong in the kitchen thing with Sherri Martel. Greg probably didn't, because she would have knocked his fat, stupid face right off his head. And I'm not even sure how that works. But yeah, Greg Valentine does not represent the state of Washington very well, or the city of Seattle. Greg Valentine is as much of a good worker as he is a piece of shit for how he acts towards women. That's ridiculous. And Georgie Animal Steel was never a great worker, but he was just a comedy act here. It was not a good match at all. Sherri Martel turned on Georgie Animal Steel, but then was supporting him and then decided to turn on him. It was just weird. She did look great, though. I will say that much. For being the age she was, I think she was near or at 50 at this point, because I know she died in 2007. So I think she was near 50. But yeah, Greg Valentine wasn't in very good shape. Neither was Georgie Animal Steel. I mean, Georgie Animal Steel was never in that great a shape anyway. But yeah, this was a sloppy match. It was just bad. It was just bad all around. Then you had Julio Fantastico, who I had maybe heard of like very briefly. Him versus Too Cold Scorpio. They were two high flyers, and it was weird to see Scorpio with longer hair. But this wasn't horrible for the high spots they tried, but it's like nothing in the show worked. Nothing in it worked. It was just, it was a train wreck. It was a train wreck in every sense of the word, every sense of the term. Captain Lou Albano was on commentary. Captain Lou, love Captain Lou. I have no idea what he was saying through half the commentary. Not that he was drunk. I'm sure he was actually very sober, but the guy had just such energy and was talking so fast I couldn't keep up with what he was saying. So it's pretty damn awful. Just, the presentation of it. Now, Captain Lou, he was having fun, so was Dutch, and I could imagine the stories they could share, talking about wrestling. That would have been kind of cool. Sadly, Captain Lou is no longer with us. Dutch still is. But yeah, the match was just not any good. They fought into the crowd for a little bit and then fought back, and then they had a couple of kickouts that shouldn't have happened, but yeah, Scorpio won. And that was that, so whatever. Then you had Iron Sheik in not very good shape, cutting the same promo that he cut back in the 70s and 80s, and it didn't really work because the guy was just slower and out of shape. With Nikolai Volkov versus Luke and Butch, the former Bushwhackers. They should have just called them the Sheep Herders here because maybe they could have been more violent like they were in the NWA days and less ridiculous like they were as a comedy act here. But yeah, Volkov and Sheik. Volkov could sort of move. Sheik could not. Sheik was in really bad shape here. Luke and Butch couldn't move very well either, but they were in a little bit better shape. And yeah, that was a mess also. It was actually probably the worst match. It was the second worst match of the night. And I say that because the main event was the worst match of the night. But yeah, it was a match that you wouldn't have even paid to watch in WWE back in 1990, 1991. And it was not any good. It was a mess. It was a mess of a show. It was such utter dog shit. It was horrible. And then you had Stan Lane versus Tully Blanchard. Look, I mean, these guys tried. Neither of these guys have really been in wrestling much at this point for a number of years. But neither one knew the finish. It's like you had Tully kick out, you had Stan not kick out, or Stan kick out of a finish, Tully kick out of a finish. It was just bad. Nobody knew what was going on. It was confusing. And this was probably the one match that should have been pretty good. I mean, even though neither guy was really that great of a performer anymore, you figure they could pull out one decent performance in front of this crowd. And Tully got pyro. That's what was kind of funny. I mean, Tully Blanchard was one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Or, one of my favorites, like, especially one of my favorite tag teams of all time, him and Arn Anderson. But my God, it was just bad. It was just sloppy, and they didn't know the finish, and it was confusing. I didn't know who the hell won. I think Tully Blanchard won. I didn't even pay attention to half the stuff. As far as that, it was just crap. It was just a sloppy finish. To a match, it wasn't very good either. Then you have One Man Gang versus Abdullah the Butcher. Well, they bled. They bled. Two fat guys bleeding. And I think One Man Gang's great. Abdullah was never a good worker at all. He was just a hardcore bloodfest guy. And yeah, shocking. The guy with gills on each side of him actually bled. Yeah, Abdullah never bled. I know it was just shocking, wasn't it? But yeah, it was like chairs and chains or whatever. And I mean, maybe using chains in Mississippi wasn't a very good idea. Or using chains in general may have not been the best idea because it looked like literally, I mean, One Man Gang had chain anyway. It just did not strike me as the best idea. Because neither guy was a great performer at this point. I mean, Abdullah was never a good performer. I mean, the guy must have been 600 pounds when he was born, because dear God, the guy could never move. I mean, how he was ever able to get in the ring without collapsing through it and collapsing the very core of the earth, I'll never understand. But yeah, One Man Gang, while I enjoy him as a big man, this just was not any good. It was a double count out. It was crap. Then you had Jimmy Snuka versus Bob Orton Jr. Oh, well, look, it's Jimmy. I murdered my girlfriend in cold blood and got away with it, Snuka. Yes, the Mississippi crowd hurled gay slurs at Bob Orton Jr. that I will not mention. That was classless. I don't care if Orton was supposed to be a heel. That was classless. But then again, what would I expect from, fans of Mississippi? You have Ole Miss and you don't really have much else. But yeah, Jimmy Snuka, that was just I mean, Jimmy Snuka, look, the man should have never been wrestling. Should have never been wrestling since it's obvious he murdered his girlfriend. And also, it's weird to see that just about 3 years prior to this, he was still in pretty good shape at Survivor Series 96. And right here, he was not in very good shape at all. Now, I mean, it could be age and stuff like that. I think he was 55 at this point. And same with Bob Orton Jr. He wasn't in the best shape. But yeah, this was just bad. It was just a bad match. It's like nothing, no spot made sense. I mean, I get why they did this show. They wanted to do it as a way to celebrate these guys in wrestling, have a, low production values, pay these talents, have some people enjoy, like, some matches with classic wrestlers that maybe weren't great, but could be something they could build a pay-per-view series on, and it was shit. I mean, my God, it was shit. Yeah, but Snuka won, who cares? They were supposed to have 2 more matches. It's supposed to be Jim Neidhart versus Jake the Snake Roberts. That ended up turning into a horrible botch fest, because Roberts at one point, during a backstage promo, talking about you don't want to play with me, gambling, because they were at a casino place, because I cheat. You want to play 21, I got 22. He made no sense. I can only imagine, like, the amount of liquor that he drank at that point is probably curling nose hairs of people like 50 feet away. I'm glad Jake Roberts is recovered right now. This was a major low point in his career. It's covered him beyond the mat. It was crap. And Jake Roberts, oh my God, he was so wasted. At one point, he pulls the snake out and, mimics like, it's his dick. It was just bad. And Jim Neidhart was clearly getting frustrated. They sent King Kong Bundy out there, basically, to tag with Neidhart, and then sent Yokozuna out there, both of him. I mean, you thought Yokozuna was big at Survivor Series 96. It's like he gained 100 to 150 pounds when he, between that time, in like 3 years. It was bad. It was really, really bad. I mean, I'm amazed Yoko could fit in the ring. Bundy was always a big guy. Even the back of his head had a beer belly. But he was always a big guy. This was just bad. I mean, this was really, really bad. This was one of the worst matches I've ever seen. It's like the pay-per-view couldn't have gone any worse. And, I mean, I believe, if I'm right, there was a bald guy with Bundy, and I think it was the funder of the whole thing, or the creator, and I don't remember the guy's name right now. Offhand, it's not important. But it was just bad. This was just such a terrible tag match. I mean, Bundy ended up pinning Jake Roberts with a splash after a bit. And it was like Roberts just couldn't do anything. At one point in the beginning of the match with Neidhart, he walked out with the snake, put it there, started to untie the bag, tied the bag back up, walked to the back, and then walked back out because he had no clue where he was. He was toasted out of his mind. And Neidhart clearly was getting frustrated, throwing chair shots at him. But anyway, like I said, Bundy ends up getting the win. So him and Yokozuna never happened. I think this was Yoko's last U.S. pay-per-view appearance because he sadly would die a year later. Which is sad. I think he was only 34, 35. But yeah, if you ever watch Heroes of Wrestling, if you're a longtime wrestling fan, you've probably already seen it. If you haven't, I can just tell you right now, if I had the technology set up, I would have just recorded my live reactions to this and just been like, I don't know what to say. I mean, it's just, there's really nothing else I can say here. I mean, I haven't been struggling for stuff because there's been plenty of material, but my God, it's just, it was so awful. I thought WCW pay-per-views were bad. I thought some WWE pay-per-views were bad. Nothing compares to this. I thought Super Clash 3 wasn't that good. This was the worst ever. Because it wasn't just that the guys were over the hill. It was that the guys didn't care. They clearly didn't care. They were just there for the money. And, which I don't blame them. A lot of them were clearly out of the business by that point. But it just was a train wreck in theory. It was horrible. It was just awful, guys. So that's my opinion on Heroes of Wrestling. That ends the Why 1999 Sucked in Wrestling series. I might do a Why 2000 Sucked in Wrestling series. But it would be mainly focused on WCW because a lot of it sucked. 95% of it did. But anyway, that is my opinion. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Like, comment, and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter at the link in the description. It's been Real Honesty with John Ritland. I'm John Ritland. I'll see you soon.